Alrighty, everybody, thank you so much for joining me on the mat today for another practice. Today, we are working on opening up through the hips. This is accessible for all levels, but will be geared more for the beginner. No props required, however, they will always be helpful if you want to incorporate them. We'll get started sitting on the center of our mat, cross-legged, or in Thunderbolt pose on your ankles as I am. Just closing your eyes, take a moment to connect with your breath. Feel the rhythm of each inhale and exhale, grounding you in the present moment. As you flow through each pose, let go of any distractions and allow yourself to sink deeper into the sensations of your body. Notice any areas of tension or resistance, and with each breath, gently release them. And just remember, your practice is a reflection of your inner journey, embracing the challenges and the moments of ease with equal grace, knowing that each experience is an opportunity for growth and self-awareness. Let your yoga mat be your sacred space where you can cultivate self-love, acceptance, and compassion. But we'll go ahead and get started, moving into our mountain pose, Tadasana. Feet hip-width apart, standing straight, getting ready to open up through our hips. Go ahead and open up our feet out wide, toes out, heels in for our revolved goddess pose. Dropping the hips down, hands on the knees, and drop your right shoulder. Breathe in, come up, drop your left shoulder. Moving back and forth, pushing into the knees. Opening up through the hips, dropping the hips lower as you can. And continuing to flow back and forth in the revolved goddess pose, Parivrita Utthata Konasana. It's definitely a very intense stretch for me personally. I love this one. Just letting the hips know you're getting ready. Feet out wide, ankles under the knees. Knees tracking over the toes. Before heel-toeing your feet in, coming down for Malasana Yogi Squat, Garland pose. Hands at prayer, elbows and triceps helping to push open your knees. Staying here, getting ready for the practice. This is an amazing practice, especially after a leg day, or even just when you find yourself sitting a lot. You go getting those tight quads and hip flexors. And we'll drop back down onto your seat for our bound angle pose, soles of the feet coming together in front of you, Baddha Konasana. If you want to intensify this stretch, bring your heels closer. To ease off, bring them further away. Go ahead and bounce the knees, opening up through the hips, getting some slight movement in the tendons, ligaments, and the hip sockets themselves. This is an amazing movement for the fascia. Continuing to bounce the knees. And next we'll move for our deer pose. Left leg coming at a 90-degree angle in front of you. Left knee pointing forward, left sole of the foot pointing towards the right. Right knee out at a 90-degree angle to the side. Right knee pointing same direction as your left foot, left sole of the foot. Right sole of the foot towards the back of the room, or the back of your space. Trying to maintain left knee on the ground. You can either fold forward, or if you'd like to extend backwards, putting your hands behind you. I personally prefer this way. It feels a lot better for me, but making the practice your own. Going ahead and keeping left knee on the mat, starting to open up the right knee, bringing it up and then back to the mat, up and back to the mat, before finally rotating it all the way over for a nice little transition to the other side. So it'd be the opposite now, Right leg at a 90-degree angle in front of you, left leg 90-degree angle out to the side, trying to keep the right knee on the mat. A little bit of space between the left hip and the ground is okay, just moving in that general direction. And again, either leaning forward or leaning backwards, whichever your body is asking for at this particular moment. And we'll go ahead and make our way to tabletop pose, Brahmanasana. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, staying on your toes, getting a little cat-cow pose flow in. Breathing in, dropping the belly, broadening through the collarbones and looking up. Exhaling, pushing through the hands, rounding the upper back, looking towards the navel. Flowing back and forth for a few more cycles of breath. And on your next breath out, moving to our low lunge pose, left leg coming forward. You can either frame the foot with both hands, maybe left hand onto knee, right knee on the mat, folding the mat over, doubling it up if you like a little more support, or if you have a blanket or a little jelly to put underneath there. Bouncing forward and backwards, making any circular movements, any movements that feel good, opening up the fascia, moving into the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, showing your body some love. It's our low lunge pose, Anjaneyasana. And moving back into our half splits pose. Breathing in, extending up, exhaling, bringing your hips back, hips over right hip over right knee, left leg straight. Inhaling, lifting up, looking up, exhaling, folding forward and down. Finding any movements that feel good for you, stretching out through the hamstring here. You might even feel it in the hip or the lower back if that's tight enough. Breathing into wherever you feel the stretch. And bringing your knee back down before switching to the other side. Right foot forward, left knee on the mat. Framing your front foot, lifting up, pushing into the hips, sinking the hips towards the ground, bouncing forward and backward, maybe making some circular motions. And moving back into our half splits pose, Ardha Hanumanasana. Breathing in, extending forward, exhaling, left hip over left knee, stretching out through that right leg, flexing the right toes, inhaling, looking up, lifting up, exhaling, folding forward and down. And bringing your knees back into a tabletop pose, coming through child's pose for a moment. Sinking your hips back towards your heels, extending your arms away from you, sinking into the mat, letting any stress or tension drain away. And coming back up into our low lunge pose, left leg forward, right knee on the ground, right top of the foot on the ground. Breathing in, arms coming up, looking up, maybe a slight back bend as you sink into the hips, left knee over left ankle. And we can move into a quad stretch from here. Keeping right hand on the mat, reaching back with your left hand, meeting your left hand with your right foot. As you extend your right foot away from you, feeling it pull into your left shoulder. Before exhaling and bringing the right foot towards the glutes, bringing it in, stretching out that right quad. This can be a very intense stretch, so if your left knee needs to splay out, coming onto the left edge, left blade of your foot, feel free, outside edge. Otherwise, looking back over your left shoulder, if this stretch is accessible. Moving back through tabletop pose, right foot and then coming forward on the exhale, left knee on the ground. Embracing the present moment, for it's where your power lies. Connecting with your breath and letting it guide you through each pose. Inhaling peace, exhaling tension. And if you'd like to do the quad stretch on this side as well, we'll be dropping the left hand to the mat, meeting the right hand and right foot, reaching back with that right hand. Trying to grab the outside, the pinky toe side of the foot so your arm has a little external rotation. Begin by extending that foot away from you, feeling a nice stretch in your right shoulder. Maybe flexing the left foot for a little more intensity as well. And on your breath out, go ahead and bring that foot in, relaxing the quad, letting it stretch out. And we'll make our way onto our back for reverse pigeon pose. Go ahead and take that right ankle on top of left knee. Can reach through that little gap, maybe bouncing the right knee down a little bit. Reaching through, grabbing the outside of the left shin, the left thigh, whichever is most comfortable. Can bring the knees towards the chest to deepen the stretch. Trying to keep your right foot flexed, toes pointing towards the knee, no discomfort in the knee. Opening up through that right hip, breathing in through the right hip. And moving to a reclined half cow face pose, Supta Ardha Gomukhasana. You will keep the right ankle on the top of the left knee. You will just drop both the left knee and the right foot down to the ground. Feel free to push into your right knee with your left hand to ensure right knee stays pointing up. Nice hip and IT band stretch for you. And we'll go ahead and switch sides. Right sole of the foot coming to the ground. Left ankle on right knee. Reaching your left hand through the gap. Right hand outside right ankle to clasp hands behind the thigh or in front of the shin, pulling your knees in towards you, again flexing through the left feet. No pressure or pain in the left knee, keeping lower back on the ground, hips level, shoulder blades on the ground, no tension in the neck or head. Letting your body enjoy the stretch and open up. And dropping right sole of the foot to the ground, not moving your left leg, just allowing the right knee and left sole of the foot to drop to the ground on your right side. Pushing into your left knee with right hand to make sure it stays pointing up if you need that. Otherwise, sinking into the stretch, feeling the support of the ground beneath you. Before bringing our legs back up, coming into our supine spinal twist, left leg straight, right leg up at a 90-degree angle, left hand outside right thigh, bringing it and dragging that leg across your body. And if you want the full expression for cat pulling its tail, grabbing a left foot with right hand, pushing into your left glute to stretch the left quadricep and hip flexor. Your right knee may hit the ground, it might not. You can straighten your right leg to deepen that IT band stretch as well. Work on the hips a little bit more, but less is more, as they say. Go ahead and switch sides, right leg straight, left leg coming up, right hand outside left knee to twist over, opening that left arm to the side, or reaching left arm down to grab right foot for cat pulling its tail. We'll have one more stretch after this pose before corpse pose. You've done so well this practice. Let's finish strong. And on your next breath out, coming into our happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. Keeping hips and shoulders on the ground, reaching towards your feet. Maybe you reach the feet, maybe you grab the outsides of the calves or the thighs. But if you can reach for the outsides of your feet, ankles over knees, rocking side to side slowly, stretching out the spine, working through the hips, breathing into that space. It's our final pose before Shavasana. And slowly dropping those feet, extending your legs away from you, letting your feet drop open, hips melting to the ground, shoulder blades connected to the mat as your arms are out wide, palms facing up, melting into the mat to enjoy the fruits of your labor, sinking into Shavasana, only here for a short while. With each breath, inviting in gratitude, finding your center, letting go of what does not serve you, breathing in tranquility, exhaling stress. And we'll go ahead and finish up, stretching arms up, pointing toes, rolling over onto one side, before coming up and finishing your practice. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. It has been a pleasure. There's plenty more videos for us to do together. Hope you have a blessed rest of your day. If you enjoyed, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, until next time, namaste.